YouTubers, this is another video from your friendly neighborhood reviewer Evelyn. Today we're going to be reviewing finally a K-drama time travel series I've been watching. It's called My Perfect Stranger, starring Kim Dong-wook. You probably recognize him from these other shows. I think it was Find Me My Memory. I've seen his work in other K-dramas. He likes taking these introspective plots that makes you think, talks about life in a weird sort of sense. I know he did that other supernatural series called The Guest, in which he played the psychic. Also, we get the female main lead of Jin Ki-ju. Now, I've seen her on From Now On Showtime, when she was like a police officer, a whole other fantasy series. So let me tell you, between all these popular series that's out, Tale of the Nine-Tailed 1938, Dr. Cha, and, you know, Good Bad Mother, between Good Bad Mother and My Perfect Stranger, in terms of the complexity of the plot and the intrigue is really high per se, but I think My Perfect Stranger, for me personally, has won over the other K-drama shows so far. It might be an unpopular opinion. So let's set the premise. We have Kim Dong-wook playing the reporter of Yoon Hae-jun. Episode 1 opens up where he's going, what I believe he's driving, through a point where he reaches a tunnel, and then like some power lights flash upon him and he swerves to avoid crashing something. He gets out from the car and he sees an 80s model type car, like red. I think it looks like a Nissan to me, but as well, due to, I guess, sponsorship issues, these Korean dramas, they blur out the logos. So it's just an 80s car. He has a look inside and he gets a manual saying time travel manual. So we have a voiceover from Kim Dong-wook as the character of Yoon Hae-jun saying, "I'm a reporter, I only chase facts. I don't imagine myself ever to be the lead in any story." But he says, "But the curiosity got the better of me." So he goes in, he reads the manual. Now this looks very similar to Back to the Future, but more modernized, not needing a crap ton of uranium, whatever is the power. They don't explain yet. I've watched up to the 10 episodes. They haven't explained yet the reason for this car, who invented this car. So the curiosity got the better of him. He goes in and he goes 1,000 years into the future. He comes back and he's like, his mind is blown. He's like, whoa, I'm actually in a time traveling car. So he decides to change it since he's in that time space of 2021. He says, okay, let's go 10 years into the future or 20 years to see how he is. So he goes and then comes back and we see him left stunned of Hae-jun. We are thinking like, what's happened? And then we get him, he's in 1987, a year before the Olympics in Seoul, Korea, and he's talking to two kids saying the story, and of course these two kids are thinking he's crazy. So we get that sense from episode 1 that he needs to go back to this certain town in 1987 to uncover this serial killer, in which we find out in the future this guy that was convicted of killing these girls in a certain village was framed. So he knows that and he confronts the now released killer saying, "I knew you was going to kill yourself even before the day of your release. Well, I want to let you know that I know you're innocent." But the wrongfully convicted prisoner says, "How do you know this? You're just making fun of me because I've been like 30 years in prison." And he convinces the wrongfully convicted of the truth. So cut away, we get to Jin Ki-ju as played Baek Yoon-young. I'm so bad at these Korean names, and it's even funny, I'm like learning Korean, so it's very embarrassing sometimes to mispronounce some of this. But anyway, we have Yoon-young. She's the editor for this author in a publishing company, and she really likes this author that she's editing, but this author is like treating her quite bad. And we can see that Yoon-young, she comes from not the best background. Her mom is very submissive, very like blasé, like not caring about so much the things that she likes to be in her own world. As well, her father is a deadbeat dad that just concerning about his own brother, like having, drinking and whatnot. So Yoon-young, for understandably reasons, Baek Yoon-young, she's not happy with the situation. She wants to go up in life and she wants her mother to have that same status. So afterwards, when helping the author with this press conference or like promotion for a new book, she meets her mother, in which she talks down to her mother saying why she's buying such a cheap scarf, and they get into some sort of little argument. But unbeknownst to her, as she's doing her business, she gets a phone call saying that from the police telling her that her mother took her own life, and then she's left shocked. But this part I was thinking, Jesus Christ, is the mom that mentally unwell? I understand having arguments, but you don't do that to people over an argument. That bit to me seemed weird. So she's left devastated because understandably, the last things that she told her mother wasn't such nice things. So she blames herself for her mother's apparent passing or taking her own life. We found out that Haejun, the main male character, he finds out in 20 years in the future he gets murdered by the killer. So that was one way he knew that the guy that they already had in prison wasn't the real killer. And he decides the only best way for him to figure out who is this serial killer is for him to create a fake life in 1987 in his particular town and village as a teacher. The villagers know him because he ends up changing one piece of the future in which he saves a girl who was inhaling one of those aerosols. That's another funny part. I do remember in the early 90s, late 80s, that there was that phenomenon of young people sniffing high-strength glue and aerosols. Of course, burning that's not the safest thing to do, but looking back at how things are now, that seems a bit funny in retrospect, but not funny at the same time. So he saves that girl that's under the influence from going off the cliff. That gives him brownie points with the whole villagers. So as he's coming back and forward with time, he goes back to 1987, and as he was going there, the girl of Baek Yoon-young, she's at the riverbed where her mother was, and she has the suicide note of the mother, in which it read, "Oh, I want to go back to happy memories and times," so on. So she interprets that was, the last goodbye, and she goes and her father meets her there, and she lets her father know it. Like, what? Like, my mom tried calling you so many times before she took her own life, but you never answered. And she says out loud, flippantly, without her even realizing what's gonna happen next, that she said if she had the power to go back in time, she would stop, her mother from meeting the dad so the mom could have her own life, not to go around with this deadbeat dad. So the dad is understandably, he needs to understand that he wasn't the best pillar or support, whatever his circumstances, and the dad goes off crying. So as Baek Yoon-young is going off, she happens to find a little matchbox floating in the riverbed. She grabs it and then she reads a note that's half faded saying, "Women who read are dangerous." So as she's walking back into the main road, she inadvertently goes into the path line of Haejun in the time machine car, and Yoon Haejun realizes he's about to crash into a person. He inadvertently swerves but drags her and him into the past, 1987. And that's when he finds out that the car is now broken, and then Baek Yoon-young is in the past, and he needs to orientate her fast. And by all coincidence, she happens to be in the same town where her mother was as a young teenager before meeting her dad, and she realizes this is her chance to stop the union of her mom and dad in the past. Now, initially when I saw these episodes, I was like, she's suicidal, for God's sake, she wants to erase her existence. Now, I'm going to leave it there. It's an interesting premise for so many reasons because of the meeting between the two leads, which is all connected together. And of course, we find out that for Yoon Haejun, the three suspects who could be the killer, one of the suspects is Baek Yoon-young's father. So that is everything connected. And we find out in the other later episodes that the principal and mayor of the town is Yoon Haejun's grandfather. So it's a it's complex. It makes, the show makes you think this certain person is the killer, he's the killer, and then they swerve it all the way around. So this is my explanation about the main content of the series. There's a lot more to explain. Anybody who reaches to the end, let me know if you want me to explain the rest of the episodes. It gives me a good sense whether to carry on, because the plot can be complex, and I could, bring my own interpretations. Who could be the real killer? But anyway, to any new viewers, really appreciate it. You can hit the subscribe button, keep the channel growing, and to all the new subscribers and anybody returning to watch this video, thanks for watching. As I leave you always, stay safe.